Welcome to another video. Today we're going to look at an awesome shooter for the Saturn called Sengoku Blade. I picked this one up at a game convention a few years ago. Unfortunately, it's missing the manual. Normally I try to get all my disc-based games complete, but the price was right, and I knew that my chances of seeing it again were very slim. It does have the bonus disc though, which features a bunch of concept and fan art. Like many other shoot-'em-ups in the Saturn's library, this one started off as an arcade game in Japan. In 1996, Psikyo and Atlas ported it to Sega's 5th gen system. This game is different from most Psikyo shooters as it is a horizontal one, and most of their other shmups are vertical. The gameplay is similar to other games in the genre. You defeat enemies with your normal shot, while trying to avoid being hit by their bullets. If things get too crazy, you can fire off a bomb to deal heavy damage to everything on screen. Certain enemies will leave behind power-ups, bombs, or coins when defeated. The power-ups and bombs will continuously float around the screen, but the coins will slowly fall off the screen. These have a base value of 200, but if you time it just right, you can earn up to 2,000 points based on how much of the coin is facing the screen. I usually have a hard time with mechanics like these, but even a player as unskilled as myself was able to learn the timing. You don't use aircraft or a starship like in most shooting games, but instead will use characters as your ship. I've seen games like Choaniki and Dragon Spirit mess up this non-ship mechanic by having ginormous sprites with huge hitboxes. But Sengoku Blade keeps your sprite, and more importantly, your hitbox quite small, which makes it easier to dodge bullets. There are a total of 7 characters to choose from. 5 are on the select screen, 1 is unlocked with a code, and the last one will be available after beating the game with all the others. The main character is a fan favorite for obvious reasons. While I admit she has some stunning, animation, she's not actually my favorite character to use. That honor would go to one of the secret characters, Marion, who makes a guest appearance from Gunbird. The cool thing about her, besides her nice attack range and firepower, is that she no longer loses her max power after a certain amount of time. You may find yourself liking one of the other 5 characters more though. Each have their pros and cons, with different shot patterns and also different bomb attacks. Experimenting with the different characters is a big reason why this and other Psikyo shooters are so enjoyable. Like other Psikyo games, the first 3 stages are randomized. After that, there is a boss rush level. You will then get to choose an upper or lower path. I find the lower path to be a little bit more manageable personally. Once you've made it through one of those stages, it's time to face off against the final boss and see one of the 7 different endings. The controls in this game are excellent and can be configured to your liking. The default setting uses A and C for shots and the B button to use bombs. I changed the A to rapid fire, as I'm not a huge fan of mashing the button constantly. Moving around is very easy to do, especially with the Saturn's Model 2 pad. Movement speed is pretty good too. Usually it's your fault when you die, as bullets are pretty slow, and you shouldn't have too much trouble getting out of the way until the later stages. This game seems to be a little bit easier than other offerings from Psikyo, at least on the lower difficulty settings. That's not to say the game is a cakewalk, as you will find plenty of difficult situations, but I didn't struggle with it as much as games like Strikers 1945 and Gunbird. One thing I really love is how you can hit the ground without taking damage or losing a life. It does make sense in a space shooter, but in a game like this it wouldn't fit, so I'm glad they left out that mechanic. The music is pretty unique in Sengoku Blade. While most shooters go for a techno or metal sound, this soundtrack has a very distinct Japanese flavor. Sound effects are pretty nice as well. The voice acting is also quite good, although it does seem to be a little quiet in the mix. The graphics are absolutely beautiful, featuring great sprite work and animation on your characters. The backgrounds are all Sengoku-era Japan settings, and are a nice change of pace from the typical space backdrop. In addition to that, there are some great character and enemy portraits before boss fights and between stages. Sengoku Blade is a fantastic shooter that features a lot of replay value with its 7 playable characters. It's also nice that it offers so many difficulty settings, which makes it a good game for veterans or newcomers to the genre. If you'd like to pick this up for the Saturn, it can be pricey, with complete copies selling for $80 or more. This game was also ported to the PlayStation 2 as part of the Psikyo shooting collection, which goes for about the same price. If those are too expensive for you, it is also available for download on the Nintendo Switch as Tengai, which will only cost you $8. Definitely worth playing any way you can, as this is a really fun shoot 'em up. And that will do it for this one. As always, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.